This is a reading from the Gospel of Luke. Jesus continued, "There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, 'Father, give me my share of the estate.' So he divided his property between them. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. After he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to feel a need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, 'How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare, and here I am starving to death? I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' So they began to celebrate. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. 'Your brother has come,' he replied, 'and your father has killed the fatted calf, because he has him back safe and sound.' The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, 'Look, all these years I have been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who has squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, you fill the fatted calf for him.' 'My son,' the father said, 'you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad, because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.'" The Gospel of the Lord. The famous British poet Francis Thompson is most known for his classical poem, The Hound of Heaven. In the poem, the poet has been fleeing God because he feels that God has treated him badly. When God finally catches the poet, as a hound catches a prey, God says to him, "All which I took from you I did but take not for your harm, but just that you might seek it in my arms. All which my child's mistake fancies are lost, I have stored for you at home. Rise, clasp my hand, and come." Our gospel of today reminds me of the worst and best moments of the prodigal son. His worst moment was the greed and desire for pleasure that led him to ask for his inheritance while his father was still alive. Perhaps he too felt hard done by and thought he deserved better. He wanted the high life now and was not willing to wait and to earn his inheritance. Filled with such erroneous motivations, or thy child's mistake fancies, as it says in the poem, he set out to live his fantasy, only to find himself soon destitute and alone. The good life had not been that good after all. His best moments came when he realized that he belonged at home and that he had a father who loved him. Despite the insult and disrespect towards his father, the son held out some hope that there was a place for him, if even as a servant. He began his journey home in hardship and poverty, whereas he left with big dreams and wealth. The reaction of the father changes the focus of the parable from the prodigal son to the forgiving father. The father is filled with forgiveness and mercy in receiving his son back into his company, even as a treasured son. Indeed, the father has stored for him at home, and he invites his son to clasp his hand and come. Such dramatic images in the poem that easily reflect the surprising, for some, reaction of the father to his son. Indeed, the father wanted his son in his arms. In our first reading from the book of Joshua, God expresses his love for his chosen people. He has rolled away from them the disgrace of Egypt and continues to guide them to the promised land. Despite their past unfaithfulness to the covenant, he has given them another chance. They are his people. The second reading from St. Paul's second letter to the Corinthians announces the good news of the forgiveness of God. We are a new creation in Christ through our reconciliation with God. We are called to go one step further and to become ambassadors for Christ, sharing forgiveness and reconciliation with others. This parable is well known, probably the best known of them all. In the Lenten season, it is a call to coming home to the Father. With our Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. The Father heard these words, but he did not respond to them. His love was unconditional, and the forgiveness of his Son was unconditional. Surely this is what we all seek from God and from one another, unconditional love and forgiveness. We all want a second chance. We all want to be clasped by the hand of God and to be in his arms. With all the good news of this gospel, there is often also a negative reaction. Some say, it's not fair. They identify with the faithful son who stayed and labored with his father. He felt he was treated badly, the father forgiving his worthless son, whom he did not call his brother, after the pain that he caused him. I often wonder what motivated this son in his faithfulness to the father. Perhaps he did it out of duty, feeling he had to win and earn the father's love, or out of fear. He did not realize that the father's love was unconditional. Although he is often referred to as the good son in relation to the wayward or the prodigal son, I am not sure just how good he was. I imagine that if he had transgressed against his father, he would have never dared to show his face again, feeling unworthy of a second chance, that he was not worth it. I also imagine that with his attitudes, his friendships were few, always feeling not good enough. His love would have been conditional, and anyone who crossed him would have had no chance of redemption. This Lent, the Lord is pursuing us as the hound in the hound of heaven. The Lord seeks us, not to admonish or to punish us, but to take us into his arms and reassure us that we are loved and forgiven. The parable of the prodigal son reassures us who our God is and how he looks upon us. The wayward son allows us an opportunity to reflect on our own waywardness and how we fail the Father, and how humility and remorse can lead us to the arms of the Father. The good son also provides us with an opportunity to reflect on how well we respond to the conversion, forgiveness, and reconciliation of others, in particular those whom we think are not worthy, and lead us to think and say, it's not fair. Let us open ourselves to the unconditional love and forgiveness of the Father, and make of this Lent season one of renewal and reconciliation for us. He is fair.